Serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 118 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of July 15th through the 21st, 2019. My name is Tim.
My name's Ray.
And we are opening the recipe box. We're recording this episode at the Man Who Ate the Town at the Lab Industry Hill.
Yeah, we're at the lab.
Yeah, we're at the lab this time. It's a repurposed building on North Chestnut Street in the old warehouse district of downtown Winston-Salem. A lot of cool things here, including us.
Yes, we're one of the best.
That's right. Visit industryhill.com for more.
As cool as the lab is, it's nowhere near as cool as being at Yamas.
Yamas!
Yeah, that was awesome.
Okay, so Sentinel Commons that I mentioned last week is a real thing. We found out on Thursday at Venture Cafe that this is really coming. I wasn't able to be in that session because I was supporting my friend Mackenzie Cates Allen of the Winston-Salem Ambassadors. I have a friend who is with Linville Team Partners, the firm who is managing the property and in charge of filling its spaces. In fact, my friend Nick will be on this show to talk about it on August 5th.
Good.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Nick's a cool guy.
Yeah, so we will know more about that when Nick gets here.
Cool.
You know Nick Gonzalez?
I have met Nick, yes.
Okay. All right, so Dateline Winston-Salem.
Ding, 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 ding.
Wise Man Brewing has been named a top 10 brewery of the world.
In the world?
Yes.
The whole world.
And was awarded 4 medals at the 2019 U.S. Open Beer Championship, a major beer competition based in Oxford, Ohio. The Winston-Salem-based, this is from the press release, by the way, Winston-Salem-based craft brewery competed against 7,000 beer submissions from hundreds of breweries across the globe at this annual beer competition. For the second straight year, Wise Man received a gold medal for its bourbon barrel-aged Merry World, a breakfast stout brewed with Cranky's coffee and Black Mountain cocoa nibs and aged for 6 months with bourbon barrels.
That's a really good beer.
The judges also awarded Wise Man with a silver medal for Outraged Daughters and Irish Red Ale, and bronze medals for Springvale, Maybach, and Port Barrel Aged Hell's Company Russian Imperial Stout. Wise Man was also declared a top 10 brewery out of the hundreds that competed. We are humbled by this recognition, but also so proud of our outstanding brew team, said Sam Victory, brewmaster and one of the 3 founders. To win 4 medals at this prestigious competition is significant enough, but to finish in the top 10 in the world out of so many excellent breweries is truly an honor. Wise Man has received numerous awards since opening in January 2017, including 2 medals at the 2018 Open Beer Championship, but this marks the first time the brewery has been recognized as one of the top breweries in the world in a global competition.
Wow.
I have always loved
2 years.
Yeah.
So it tells you the quality of what we got right here in town.
That's exactly right. Plus, Sam Victory, who is the brewmaster, before they opened, they came on the less desirables the day that they got power in the building. And he had done some home brewing and brought them, and those were amazing.
Yeah.
So I have always loved Wise Man's beers. They make delicious, well-crafted brews, and winning a competition like this shows that.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of everything that Sam, Mike, and Jason are doing over there.
Yeah, congratulations, guys. That's phenomenal. Let's hope that's a catalyst for them to continue to reach their goals and aspirations.
I think, they're on the right track. They have just about everything going for them over there. So, I don't know how this slipped by me, but Duck Donuts is getting ready to open in the Burke Mill Village area in Winston-Salem.
Nice.
Along with Viva Chicken and Taco Mama.
Ooh.
Being as Winston-Salem is kind of down on their former hometown heroes, Krispy Kreme, for turning their backs and basically flipping the bird to the city that gave them life and basically lying to all of us about how it was going to happen until it was too late, people have been begging for Duck Donuts. Duck Donuts started in Duck, North Carolina on the Outer Banks, and people drive a long way for those made-for-you donuts. Everything is made when you order it. It's not pre-made and sitting in a shelf. Well, this is going to be at the corner of Stratford and Burke Mill Roads
Okay.
The area popped up like Instagrow and is unrecognizable to anyone who hasn't been through there in a few months.
No kidding.
More on the Taco Mama and Viva Chicken as I find out more. I have been to the Taco Mama in Greensboro for a Man Who Ate the Town official tasting and article writing, and I have been talking with the brand marketing person from them about the one in Greensboro, but he didn't mention it to me about Winston, and they've been doing a pop-up food truck there. No, I'm sorry, that's Duck Donuts, but they are going to the Taco Mama. I don't know. I'm waiting to hear back from Matt.
So that's a local Taco Mama.
It's a regional.
It's a regional.
Yeah, it's a chain, but it's a regional.
Okay. We can live with regional.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Unless it's our dear friend Daniel.
That's right.
And then he gets through just because it's him. He's amazing.
Yeah. We need to have him back on the show.
I think we should.
We will.
We will?
Yes, we will.
I'm gonna hold you to that promise.
Okay, I won't let you down.
Okay, good.
Second Harvest Food Bank of North Carolina or Northwest North Carolina.
Get it right.
Will present Farm to Fourth, a dinner honoring local food and farmers at 6 p.m. on August 18th in downtown Winston-Salem. The first Farm to Fourth was in 2016 and was a great event. Lots of great food, and I believe it or not, it wasn't ridiculously hot in August for whatever reason. Chef Jeff Bacon of Providence Culinary Training, the two Providence restaurants, and Second Harvest Food Bank is gathering folks from Willows, The Porch, Mission Pizza Napolitana, and more to bring you great food made from local ingredients from local farms.
Oh, man, that's going to be good.
Yeah. Now, last time it was on the stretch of 4th Street between Marshall and Spruce.
Okay.
So where Hutch was, where the canteen is, Stevens Center.
Down towards T.W. Gardner got theirs.
Before you get to there, because where Bull's Tavern is.
Okay, right.
Now, I don't know if that's exactly the same place, but this actually was on the street.
Okay,
So,
good.
now the cost is $75 a person, which sounds steep, but I think it will be well worth it. It was last time.
When you look at the quality of the names that are going to be preparing food.
Yeah.
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 And this is all going to, it's not just going to somebody's pocket.
Yeah, this is Second Harvest Food Bank. This is a fundraiser for them.
Yeah.
So,
And we know they're doing amazing work in our community.
absolutely.
When you look at the nonprofits that are really having an impact, they're one of those at the top of the list.
Yes, indeed. Summer of Burgers tour update. I didn't mention any last week, but because we were doing the remote. But in the last 2 weeks, I've had Boondoggies in Yadkinville, Willows, Canteen Market and Bistro, and today I had Mooney's. Of course, I can't give you any details, but I can just say that I've had some good burgers.
You can't give me the details of Boondoggies?
Not yet.
Oh, you're making me wait.
Yes, I am.
Now,
I will just say, though, about Boondoggies, if you go, it'll be worth the drive.
It's worth it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You should see him salivating as he's saying that.
Wipe off.
Yeah, get the.
Oh, I left some on the microphone.
You're going to need a towel for that. Yeah. So, when you had the burger at Willow's, was this something different than what you normally would?
Yeah, well, because this one was specifically for this tour. The first one, Travis went nuts and made me something of his own design, which is not on the menu, which disqualifies it because it has to be something that everybody can get.
I remember you said that. It's kind of why I was kind of coming at that.
Yeah, so this one was just their Murica burger.
America.
Yeah, hashtag Murica burger.
Okay. So is it worth the drive to Willow's for that burger?
Oh, yeah, and now you can get there because Liberty Street's open.
Woohoo! Yay!
Liberty Street's open over the former Business 40, soon-to-be Salem Parkway, so you can get there from downtown without going around the world.
It's just a straight shot now.
Yeah. It was never around the world, but people thought it was. But now you can go straight down Liberty and be right there.
Fantastic.
And I told you I wasn't going to let you down. You were going to hold me to it.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen. Well, all right. So we're getting ready to do the Getting in Your Business Part 2, or Redux.
Redux. I like Redux.
With our good friend Daniel Butner from Carrabba's here in Winston-Salem. And he's here to specifically talk about the wine dinner and astral just watching that we're going to be doing at this thing tomorrow, right?
Right. It's I've got a lot lined up. It's celebrating Apollo 11's original launch, which was like 9:32 in the morning, but we're not going to be that early.
That's a little early for wine.
Yeah, but the day goes until midnight. Right?
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of neat if you really, I mean, some were there, some were not, but if you really look at back in the day, then I mean, that was just an event where everybody stopped doing what they were doing and watched it. Every single one of the rocket launches they did, they watched it, and as a kid, it was always fascinating to me. So when we said we were going to celebrate the 50th anniversary and do a wine dinner, I'm like, man, this is my stick. I love this.
So is all Carrabba's doing this?
Every Carrabba's is doing it. I'm probably going a little bit bigger.
I was going to say, you probably have a little more passion for this than most folks at Carrabba's.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when my passion hits it, I can't stop.
Yeah.
So it's a
roll on.
It's going to be a tremendous event, and it's like, and the wine dinner, of course, is going to start out with beer and wings. You know, so it's like, what better way?
It's perfect.
But we're doing the Calabrian roasted wings, and it uses our Calabrian pepper butter, so spicy Sicilian butter, and we just take wings, we cook them a little bit of salt and pepper, bake them, and then we cool them down, then we finish them up in the oven, pizza oven, and then we take our butter and put them on the outside, so they just have like the perfect, I mean, they're awesome. And then we're doing that with the Blue Moon beer. And somebody's like, and it's kind of funny because when they were tasting the product, there's a bunch of guys sitting around the table, and he's like, man, a beer only comes around once in a blue moon this good. So that's kind of where they have the name. So that's kind of neat.
Cool.
And I'm not usually one for mass-produced beer, but I do love me a good Blue Moon.
Yeah.
It's no Hogarden, but it's still a great wheat beer.
Right. But the funny part about it is the next dish we'll have is called the Mezzaluna Carrabba. It's one of my all-time favorites, and you ask somebody about it, and they're like, "That sounds, I don't know what it is." It's pretty good because it takes the Mezzaluna is a medium moon, is what it means. So it takes a half moon shaped pasta with chicken, ricotta, and spinach, and then we top it with our Alfredo sauce with mushroom, peas, and chicken.
Oh man, that really sounds good.
It's great, and we're pairing that with a Rocca della Macy Moonlight wine. So that's.
I'm seeing a common theme here, that there's this kind of moon element to the meal.
It's going to be out of this world.
That's like I was telling people, I was like, space is vast, but seating is limited.
That's good.
But but it's funny, as I was going through this, I thought, when I first heard about it, I'm like, oh man, this will be awesome. We'll do this, and then it has so many of my favorite dishes on it too. I'm like, man, this is amazing. This is like I wished I didn't have to work so I could attend this.
Yeah,
that's how excited I am about it. But so then as we go on, we're going to have a Pollo Sorrento, which is chicken, and then we take we've already, I sent Tim a picture of the Sorrento sets this morning, but we've taken eggplant and sliced it, then we put prosciutto on it with mozzarella cheese, and then we cook the chicken, put that on top of it, top it with marsala sauce with tomatoes in it.
Oh, you have my attention once again.
Oh
yeah, that's a great picture.
It's
that helps me visualize what I thought I just tasted.
Perfect. And then we're doing that with a Alta Luna Pinot Noir, so that's kind of neat. And then so at the end of it, we're going to finish off with apple crostata.
Home run.
Yeah.
What's the fourth base right there?
So I mean, it's today we took some hazelnuts, we toasted them down, we put them in a food processor, made a hazelnut butter. We took the pastry shells and lined the bowl, put the hazelnut butter in the bottom, sliced up some Granny Smith apples, mixed that up with a little bit of cinnamon sugar, and kind of put it in the oven to bake it for a little while. Yeah. Then we're going to top it off with a little bit of caramel.
Those, I remember tasting those. And yes, that was amazing. That dessert was amazing.
I love it. I mean, you can't beat it. I love apple desserts. You know, I mean, that's the way to my heart. Just say it, if anybody needs to know.
Well, I will say I'm a chocoholic. So typically I'm looking for the chocolate dessert. I got to say, this was in the league of every chocolate dessert I've ever had. It was just outstanding.
And I am not a fan of apples, but I ate every bit of that.
Oh, yeah. We're like licking the paint.
Yeah.
The last of that taste out.
I'm like scraping it, trying to get this. Was it cast iron pan,
Yeah.
right? And I'm sitting there thinking, give me all those fillings,
be
the filings
over.
and stuff. So, yeah.
And I mean, personally, I think that's the best part, just like getting that little scrape at the end.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
A nice crispy
Because
piece of it.
it's
yeah.
melted, the ice cream's melted and all that stuff. So you got basically a soup, a cold soup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tomorrow is a little bit different because we're doing such a mass of them. We're not topping it with the ice cream tomorrow, but it's still great because I've already tried it.
Okay. Did you save any for the serving?
Yeah. Well, we made enough extra, but we're pairing that with the St. M Riesling from Germany. So that's and the funny part is when I was doing this, I was like, man, I wished I could really elevate this to kind of make it, because it's called a wine dinner experience. Okay, so we had the wine dinner.
Yeah.
I mean that
You got that nailed down.
they nail that for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, what can I do? So I actually looked online and contacted the Winston-Salem Astronomical Society.
Mm-hmm.
So they go out places and look at everything, and I just sent a little email. I was like, hey, we're doing this thing for Apollo 11. Do you think you'd have anybody want to come and talk? All of a sudden, I got involved in like this big email chain, and
There's a whole bunch of people that wanted to help out.
it's kind of funny because I tell everybody, astronomers really love to talk about it, but there's not always people that want to hear.
Right.
So whenever somebody wants to hear, you get all of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of
us. Yeah.
Yeah, we have 14 speakers lined up for the next 10 minutes.
But originally I'd planned to bring a couple of my telescopes and show some people of Jupiter, the moon arrive. If they wait long enough, the moon will be up, and of course Saturn, which it's kind of incredible, and the parking lot lights may go out around 8 o'clock, so that way we'll get rid of some light
I was
pollution.
going to say that would help.
Yeah, but they just offered up, and 4 guys are going to come, and actually one of them said, you know what, it might be cloudy, we might not be able to see anything. I've got about a 45-minute presentation on the Apollo 11 mission. I'm like, no way. So he's wanting to do that after the dinner.
Nice.
So I mean, we can look at the stars, we can listen to a presentation and learn things that we had no clue that actually, existed. So I mean, I'm actually really surprised that they were as helpful as they were.
That's really good.
So
it is going to be an experience then.
yes. So we got the experience part of it now.
So are you still bringing your telescopes, or are they bringing the scopes?
I have my two. It's one of them's about as tall as I am, so you can see
Big one.
Oh.
you can see incredible details on the moon. I wished it was 40-foot diameter so we could see the flag up there, but it's okay.
It's
Is it
okay.
still there? The flag's still there?
Oh yeah, all of them. Yeah, we planted one. I think every mission we went on.
Okay.
But so it's kind of a neat time, a neat evening. The Apollo mission lasted for days. Of course, ours. If you wanted to come and spend like an hour and 15 minutes just enjoying the dinner, that's
Then you can
awesome.
come enjoy the dinner.
Yeah, but if you really wanted to experience the rest of it and be there 3 hours, I'm actually on vacation, so I don't have to go back into work until Thursday, so basically your heart's content as long as I'll be there.
Sounds good. So if you really just want to come for dinner, then maybe let somebody else come that wants to do the full experience.
It's I'm the kind of guy, if you just wanted to come and see the experience, it wouldn't bother me.
Yeah.
It's the more the merrier, because I love looking at the stars, and if it educates anybody else into wanting to do that.
Yeah.
I've had the telescope with me a few times, and I'd see kind of a young kid in there. I'm like, have you ever seen Jupiter through a telescope? And of course you ask the parents first, but they're like, no. And then you take the telescope, you set it outside in the parking lot, and you point it toward Jupiter, and just watching them when they see the bands on Jupiter, and then like the 3 or 4 moons depending on the night. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So,
I remember the era that you're talking about, because I was a kid then too, and yeah, it fired my imagination in ways that nothing else did. It led me down a path of enjoying the science fiction writers of the day, Arthur C. Clarke and Ray Bradbury, Isaac Asimov, people who would write about the science, not just the fantasy part of it, but the real science behind it. And yeah, it was exciting to see us going. I lived in Florida in a while, so I got to go to Cape Canaveral and see the rockets and climb into those tiny little pods that landed here. You think, these guys spent how long in this space? Oh my gosh, it's so small.
yeah, could you imagine that? It's hard for me to go to the beach and sit in the same seat.
Yeah.
And Michael Collins sit in his seat for 9 days.
Yeah, and when you recognize that that's really all he had was a seat.
Yes.
It wasn't like you could stand up and stretch around, and no, you were in a seat.
Because the other 2 guys were on the other side of him.
Yeah.
And then they left him to circle the moon. He said his favorite part of the mission is when it's on the back side of the moon.
Really? All by himself.
Yeah, it's like, because I've watched a lot of the things leading up to it. And if you have an opportunity to watch some of the interviews that they took with the astronauts, because they always ask them about their fears and
Yeah.
those guys are test pilots. They don't have fears.
Yeah.
And
They're not fearful people.
No, because they're
You
like,
couldn't be.
because when they were going to the moon, like on the way to the moon, they had 19 points that they had to hit, or they wouldn't make it to the moon. Well, guess what? On the way back, they had to do the same thing.
Yes.
And it's just like the angle you come in and everything.
Yeah, you're off by a degree, you bounce.
Yeah.
Literally, you bounce off the atmosphere and you're stuck. There's no engine to fire to get you back in at that point.
And they figure it so tightly that I don't even know if you'll have enough fuel to make it back in.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when they landed the lunar probe where they got off, they were supposed to land, and it was actually inside of a deep crater with big rocks. And Armstrong didn't feel comfortable with landing there because he didn't think it would be a soft landing, and so he actually guided the ship to land about a mile away in a more level area where he felt comfortable landing.
Yeah.
And they don't know whether he had, nobody really ever said, but they think he had about 20 seconds to 70 seconds of fuel left right before he landed. It's just little interesting things like that.
Yeah.
And they're, almost 300,000 miles away.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. The science behind it is remarkable. The engineering behind it.
Well, the funny thing is not a lot of people know that, because everybody's like, oh yeah, they did all this, and Houston and Florida is like the big,
Yeah.
Everything happened in Houston and Florida. Well, they actually learned how to navigate the stars in North Carolina,
Really?
in Chapel Hill. Like all the Apollo astronauts come up and went to Chapel Hill because UNC has been honored as stars since like late 1800s, and they have so much knowledge and access that they just sent them there to learn to say, okay, this is this and this is this. This is how we need to go.
Cool.
So
I had no idea.
it's a North Carolina tie.
There you go. That's very cool.
Not quite Winston-Salem, but I want to keep digging and finding one.
Maybe
Well-
you could be the next one.
Where I'm from had the Rocket Boys. in Coalwood, which was in McDowell County, West Virginia, where I was born. So, I don't really know a whole story about it. I just know they're talking, the Rocket Boys were from there.
Cool.
So there was a lot of NASA stuff.
Yeah. It really is spectacular when you get far enough away from town to be able to really see the night sky, just how spectacular it is.
I was on my vacation. We go get lost in the woods, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
I went up the other side of Foster Falls, Virginia. It's like no power, no nothing, no street lights. I looked out, and I was standing there with one of the older guys, and I looked up and I seen this little dot, and I'm like, I think that's a satellite. He's like, man, ain't no way that's a satellite. It tracked across the sky in probably about 55 seconds.
That's something.
Yeah, then an airplane come the other way, and he's like, must have been a satellite.
I remember one time I was standing outside about 9 years ago when the space station was passing over and watching local television. They said it's going to be there about this time. And I looked and I said, well, I got about 10 minutes to get out there. And I knew which direction to look because my house perfectly faces east. So I just have to turn a 90-degree angle to face north. Plus, we have a huge opening. So I just watched it. And just, I'm like,
Well, that was fast.
that was fast, but that was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool when you can spot one.
Most of the time, the space station goes a little loop in the southwest sky. So whenever it comes up, like over normally it's during the day.
Yeah, this was right at twilight.
Yeah. That was one thing about living in the mountains. We were high enough up, and we lived on top of a mountain. So I could just sit out and just stare, and every once in a while, you'd see something come across. It's like, that's way too fast. So you figure it's got to be one of the satellites.
I mean, there's only a few hundred up there.
Exactly. Now.
Most of what brings me my television.
Right?
Exactly.
But there's one of the astronauts is from Jacksonville, North Carolina, that's on the space station right now.
Really? Cool.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer she's up there, but she flew over a couple of weeks ago, and it's kind of funny because the night before, I know this sounds crazy, but I watched the NASA channel, and I seen an interview with her. I heard she was from Jacksonville, North Carolina. I'm like, man, that's really cool. And then the next day, I seen this thing come across Facebook where she had a picture of Raleigh from the satellite. It's like, thanks News Channel, whatever, in Raleigh for, doing this. And then she had another picture. It's like, I still got my eye on you, Jacksonville. So I'm like, yeah, that's just neat.
Cool. There's a program that we've been watching at home. I don't know if you're familiar with it. If not, you'd probably enjoy seeing it. Will Smith is the host. It's called One Strange Rock. And it's interviews gaining insights from astronauts. And each episode, it's a different astronaut and different things that they have seen from that vantage point. And one of them was, and I forget who it was, we were watching it last night, but he was saying, I just had that moment when I was doing a spacewalk, was fixing some things, and I turned around, oops, sorry, that was mine. Normally I have that turned off by now. And he looked down and he said, I just had a narrow window where I could actually look back at the Earth. And he said, I just started sobbing. He said it was so exquisitely beautiful.
That's like when John Glenn was doing his laps around the Earth.
Yeah.
In the early, which he was in they say Gemini missions. We always say Gemini. But when he was in that mission and flight control said, you're wasting a lot of fuel, and he's like, I'm not getting this out of my sight. But he was supposed to roll away from the Earth, but he just kept it on it. He's like, I've got to see it.
Yeah.
But that's, which I've always been fascinated. So it's kind of really cool that we're doing this because the 16th is the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
And we're also doing it on the 23rd. So which it hasn't landed yet. So, yeah.
There you go.
But
I'm glad that you've got 2 chances for folks to experience this.
right, and the astronomy club's coming to both of them.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, it's
Well, like you said, they got a chance to have an audience. They want one.
right, and I mean, I can't. I was completely mind blown that they, number one, agreed to it, but and then they're willing to do it 2 nights. But I think I'm probably one of the luckiest people because this is blending like 2 of my biggest passions. The scratch-made Carrabba's food, and celebrating the Apollo 11 launch. So I mean, it's very excited.
I'm tickled for you.
I'm looking forward to it because I really, if nothing else, I want to just see you do it.
Well, yes. You being host on a night like that, you are going to be in your element.
And I mean, the best part about it is I'm actually off work, but I'm on vacation.
But you're going to be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't miss it for nothing.
I was going to say, if you're not there, then we better check the ER.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Find me. Get me there.
Well, give us pertinent information. It's tomorrow, the 16th, right?
July 16th and July 23rd. You can sign up at carrabbas.com /wine dinner. And it's the Lunar Effects wine dinner. They'll have the menu there. And you put in your zip code, your email address, your name, your phone number. Then I'll give you a call tomorrow. Probably be from my phone to say, hey, you still coming? So,
Well, yes, I'm still coming.
I got you. Well, I won't call you.
Okay. And how much is it a person?
$40 a person.
Really? That's not, for the experience, that's not.
And there's a few giveaways too.
Okay.
Well, when you look at each one of those courses had its own beverage that goes with that. Yeah, that's the price is not astronomical.
Very good.
Oh, ba-dum-bum.
So the
Yeah, I know that was really cheesy.
Quit being a lunatic.
Oh, that was actually a little better.
but and the funny thing about it is like the pairings are not. It's like we have this and we have this. Okay, let's put it together.
Right.
They're actually meticulously tested to make sure that they're. I mean, our beverage director does an amazing job, and they work with a R&D kitchen and they just get a bunch of people together, and they really. I say they really go through this, but it's kind of easy because they're eating great food. They're drinking really good wine. So, but they leave no stone unturned trying to.
It's really hard work that they have to do, but they do it.
Yes.
They don't just guess. They actually, we're going to make sure.
Somebody's got to, right?
Somebody has to taste it and make sure that this is what is. And then, again, by committee, you're getting more opinions on it. Then, yeah, you've probably made a better, more detailed selection.
It's kind of funny because every once in a while I'll see a pairing. I'm like, man, there's no way that works. There's no way. So
And
then
then
I'll
you do
actually
it.
cook it and I'll get some of the wine and I'll try it and I'm like, they're good.
You would have never put them together.
Never. But I mean, it's like, and then when I do, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, I've seen that with some artists where you like, how did you come up with that? You need that diversity of opinion just to come up with those kind of pairings where you're like, oh, I want that again.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's they do a really great job. I mean, I would say they do a really good job, but they actually do a really great job in getting us what we need in such an easy fashion. I mean, they almost set it up so it's effortless for us.
Yeah.
So we can enjoy the night spending with our guest and the little wine dinner and have a good time.
No panic on the back end trying to get everything set up.
No.
You already know exactly what you need. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, and they're professionals.
Yeah, they are. That does make a difference.
We're pros.
Yeah. Well, I know this is going to be an exciting night for everybody.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's really great because I get to do it, Tuesday night, and then 7 days later.
You get to do it again.
Yeah. So, And the sky's different every night. You know, if you look up, you won't see that sky again for at least 600,000 years.
Wow.
Yeah. It's all fleeting.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that long before it would come back around.
For everything exactly like it is tonight.
At that moment. Right.
Yeah. So it's like whenever, and we're kind of losing the luster of that because everybody's like, oh, you got to look at the supermoon this month, or you got to look at the strawberry moon, or and it's like they're kind of desensitizing. Like, you'll never see this again. You won't see any of the sky again for a while.
I mean, on a intergalactic, on a universal level, we're constantly spinning. So even where we are right now, we'll never actually be in this space again.
Probably not.
As the whole galaxy is moving.
Yeah. Expanding.
Yeah. And that just, the immensity of space.
Yeah.
I'll stop right there because I'll go on for another 4 or 5 hours and you'll help me.
I'm a totally, I mean, you can't even put your mind around it.
Yeah.
It's so out there.
But we can definitely put our mouths around a really good dinner.
You got that.
And we can even do it twice.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. Well, Daniel, I look forward to tomorrow, and I hope it's a universal success.
It's going to be out of this world, I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And you didn't let me down.
I told you. I
You
wasn't
did.
Let you down.
You
Have I
did.
let you down before?
No, never.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was awesome.
Thank you, Daniel. And I really can't wait to see the stars and the moon and try the food and the wine and the beer.
It just sounds like a delightful evening.
It does. But it's because Daniel's involved.
Yeah.
Daniel's delightful.
Yeah, charming.
Charming indeed.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do some food holidays.
Let's.
Today is the 15th of July. It's National Tapioca Pudding Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, let's get excited about that.
And Gummy Worm Day. Now, I like gummy worms, especially the ones with the crystallized sugar on the outside.
Oh, yeah. I like those.
And the really sour ones. I like
No.
those too. You don't like the
I don't
sour
like.
ones?
I'm not sour. Whitney is
let's
sour.
not.
She likes it sour, tart. She's that person.
She's that person.
She's the one that'll go like, "Ooh, pickle juice. Let me drink that." Ooh, no, thank you. There's a line. Not
So you
crossing.
wouldn't have a pickleback?
No.
Pickleback is, I think it's a shot of bourbon and a shot of pickle juice.
Yeah, I saw that on somebody's menu, and I was like, "What?
Yeah.
Why would you ruin a perfectly good shot?"
Well,
with
you don't
pickles?
use top shelf bourbon for that. You use well bourbon for that.
Even so.
But
No.
anyway, gummy worms. I'm for tapioca pudding. I don't know that I've ever really had it.
It's just bland.
Yeah.
I mean, you love vanilla, so maybe you would like it, but
Yeah.
the texture is bleh.
Oddly enough, my 23andMe came out with a new trait. That they had.
Something they've uncovered.
Yeah, and I am most likely in vanilla and chocolate ice cream to pick the vanilla. And I'm like, well, they're right.
Yeah, they nailed you.
Because I don't like chocolate ice cream at all. So I
I'm-
like chocolate on ice cream.
Okay,
I just don't like chocolate ice cream
well, see, then
or chocolate cake.
You can have the vanilla, and I'll take the chocolate. And it's perfectly wonderful.
That's true. This is a wonderful world we live.
Yes.
On the 15th in 1869, Hippolyte Mege Mauries received a French patent for his process to make margarine. Emperor Napoleon III had offered a prize for a suitable substitute for butter for use by the French Navy. And that's what he got.
You got margarine.
Margarine.
You know,
Margarine.
somebody told me once that margarine was like only 1 or 2 molecules away from being plastic.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, that is the stuff you put in your trunk of your car, leave it there for a couple of years, and it's still there
Yeah,
and edible.
yeah. So makes you wonder. I mean, even the bugs in the back, if even the bacteria doesn't find anything in it edible, why are we putting it in our bodies?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm butter all the way.
The 16th is National Corn Fritters Day.
Okay. I mean, I don't know that corn fritters are such an amazing food. They need a whole day.
Maybe they want people to know how awesome they are. Let's promote these and see if people realize how awesome they are.
Maybe so. Maybe so. Again, how do they end up with a day? It just doesn't seem fair.
They just said it was.
It's our day.
You know, we can say,
July 15th is now the Man Who Ate the Town Day.
let's register it.
And you know what? July 16th is too.
Yes.
And the 17th and the 18th.
Yes.
Every day is the Man Who Ate the Town Day.
All the days that end with Y.
Only those.
Only those. No others are the Man Who Ate the Town Day.
Yes. Just those days.
On the 16th in 1439, in an effort to stop the spread of disease, kissing is banned in England.
Okay, that was stupid.
Crazy Brits. In 2016, after 57 years, the New York City landmark restaurant The Four Seasons closed at its Seagram Building location at 375 Park Avenue. It relocated 3 blocks south, reopened in August 2019, but closed permanently last month. It seemed the world stopped caring about them. I mean, They moved to this place that they had been after 57 years. No one cared. It didn't have the same
It's not
feel.
the same.
It wasn't the same thing.
Yeah. It's like we were talking in the pregame with Daniel about Skippy's hot dogs. Nobody's been able to perfect it since. So, sometimes it's just that place.
Yeah.
It's that specific.
Yep.
All those ingredients coming together.
But even though we had to regrettably lose Skippy's, we did gain
Yamas! Yeah.
On the 17th, it's National Peach Ice Cream Day.
Oddly enough, I'm good with that.
I am too. I like it.
I love peaches. And this is that time of year. In fact, my mother-in-law brought us a homemade peach pie yesterday. That's dinner.
Nice. and the 17th is also National Hot Dog Day.
Hot dog.
I'm all for that. Hot dog.
Yeah, I'm more for the bratwurst than I am the hot dog.
I like bratwurst too, but I like a good hot dog. I'll be honest with you.
Most hot dogs give me they give me indigestion.
That's all the nitrates.
Yeah. So
I have to be very limited with my hot dog intake, but I do have them. In 1861, Congress authorized the Treasury Secretary to issue the first paper currency called demand notes to finance costs of the Civil War. That's the 17th. And the 17th, in 1867, Harvard School of Dental Medicine was founded in Boston, Massachusetts. It was the first university-based dental school in the United States. Is it just me, or is it hard to spit with that thing in your mouth?
it's really hard.
Yeah. They say spit, and I'm like, it's like going off the side of my face. I'm like,
Yeah. And they get it stuck in your cheek, and
Yeah.
you're like, ah!
Yeah. In 1968, brewery workers in Ontario, Canada, ended a 3-week strike for higher wages. Let's hope they got it. I guess they did, and we still get, this is Canada, so we still get
51 years
some
ago.
beer. Yeah. 51, yeah.
Yay for them.
Yeah. More Moosehead for everybody.
It's not a bad thing.
Canadians don't drink Moosehead.
They don't. It's what they export.
That's exactly. They make it for us idiots down here that will buy it. I do not buy it. If I'm going to
keep
have
the
a
good
Canadian beer, it's going to be one of those like special edition Molsons, even though Molson is one of the big evil empire things. But
Right.
but still they have some of those like special edition stuff. It's like Samuel Adams. I don't mind Samuel Adams, just regular Boston
Right.
lager, but their specialty beers are really, really good.
Yeah.
On the 18th, it's National Caviar Day.
I've never had caviar.
I haven't in the like sturgeon caviar, but I've had I think it's really just roe, but they call it caviar because I eat a lot of sushi, but they say with caviar, but I think it's just roe. I mean, I think there's a difference.
Just fish eggs. It's not
it's-
specific.
It's
caviar.
not sturgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the 18th in 64 AD,
Ooh, wow. Okay, that goes back a
the
little
Great Fire of Rome begins and burns for a week. Rumors accuse Emperor Nero of ordering the burning of the city while he played his lyre, as 70% of the city was destroyed. Nero.
Playing his fiddle while Rome burned.
Nero was no hero.
No.
In 1818, on the 18th, yes, 1818, a plague of grasshoppers devastates crops and everything green in Red River, Manitoba. Now, okay, so while it was a plague for them to be there, a group of grasshoppers is actually called a cloud. Locusts are a plague, not grasshoppers.
Let's get it right.
Let's get it right. In 1936, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile is invented. It is a giant hot dog on wheels invented by Carl Mayer, nephew of Oscar Mayer.
You ever seen it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was built by General Body Company in Chicago. There is now a fleet of 6 of them.
They're pretty cool.
In 1994, Crayola introduced scented crayons.
I don't remember the scented crayons.
No, neither.
I guess because I wasn't playing
I
with
wasn't
crayons by
in
94.
coloring age in 1994. I had gotten married for the first time that year.
I had already been married for 4 years by that point. Yeah.
On the 19th, it's National Daiquiri Day.
Okay.
The daiquiri cocktail made of rum, lime juice, and sugar takes its name from the village and iron mines of Daiquiri near Santiago, Cuba, where the
Okay.
cocktail originated around 1900. It was named either by American engineers working there or by the U.S. troops who arrived there in 1898, although at least one source claims that it did not appear until after World War I. Either way, it's National Daiquiri Day. I
like
prefer
daiquiris.
actually the strawberry daiquiris over the regular daiquiris, but
Yeah.
I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I like a good daiquiri.
Yep.
Unlike its cousin, the martini,
You don't like those?
I'm not fond of martinis versus the daiquiris.
I do like martinis. I like them extra dirty, which means with extra olive
Yeah.
juice. But you don't like olives, do you?
I don't like olives, and I tend to prefer a rum anyway. So,
Yeah.
daiquiris. I'm good with that.
In 1921, the official start of prohibition of the manufacture, importation, and sale of liquor begins in Ontario, Canada. Those crazy Canadians today, you're just on the whole thing with alcohol today. It's just annoying. So, 7/20 is National Lollipop Day.
Lollipop.
Lollipops were first made.
Lollipop, lightsaber, lollipop.
Lollipop. Or, that's more like. They were made in New Haven, Connecticut in 1908 by George Smith. They were named after a racehorse of the time called Lolly Pop.
Huh.
Not lolly,
Okay.
lolly, lolly. Get your adverbs here. That's a whole different thing.
That's very different.
In 1801, on 7/20, the Massachusetts town of Cheshire pressed a 1,235-pound cheese ball and shipped it to be presented to the newly elected President Thomas Jefferson at the White House. In
How big was that?
1,235 pounds.
Wow, that is a massive
Cheese ball.
cheese ball.
So the Cheshire cheese, which is a style of cheese, but as we'll find out here in just a few minutes, it's a different kind of cheese at the time. In 1801, the Massachusetts, that's already did that. In 1851, the first cheese factory in the United States to make cheese from scratch was started in Rome, New York in 1851 by Jesse Williams. He had his own dairy herd and purchased more milk from other local farmers to make his cheese. By combining the milk and making large cheeses, he could produce cheese with uniform taste and texture, whereas everybody else was just buying it
Small batch.
and making it themselves.
Right.
In 1889, on the 20th, Virginia O'Hanlon Douglas was born. You have any clue who that is?
I have no idea whatsoever.
When Virginia O'Hanlon was 8 years old, I guess that was 1897, she wrote the famous letter to the editor of the New York Sun asking if Santa Claus really exists. So, yes, Virginia, there really is a Santa Claus, was about her.
Cool.
On the 20th in 1969, the first men on the moon, Neil Armstrong, took one small step followed by Edwin Buzz Aldrin Jr., they found no cheese.
Oh, man, that sucks. You know what? It'd be really cool if somebody had like a meal to celebrate that event.
Yeah, it would be.
That'd be really cool.
I think they're going to do it on the 16th, though.
Yeah, and then on the
23rd.
Yeah.
And on 7/20 in 1971, you don't know her, but a friend of mine, Shauna Porter Whitley, was born in, I guess, West Virginia.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Shauna. On the 21st, Sunday, is National Junk Food Day. I can get behind
Oh,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
That was me yesterday.
Yeah.
We sat back and watched Spider-Man, the Multiverse.
Into the Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse, yeah. Oh, that was so cool. Big bowls of popcorn and, chocolate dip pretzels and M&Ms. And, yeah, we were eating well. I didn't say we were eating good food, but we were eating well.
Yeah. It sounds so good.
It was
I
very
did
tasty.
have a oatmeal pie.
Ooh.
So that was my junk food for this weekend. This is next Sunday. It's also Parents' Day. I guess they combined the
junk food and the parents.
Well, that, but the Mother's Day, Father's Day. Let's just put it Parents' Day.
Parents' Day.
Yeah. And it's also National Ice Cream Day.
Because, for some people, parent may not actually be mother or father.
It's true.
It is true.
It's
and
true.
National Ice Cream Day?
Yeah. And the original
gotta
proclamation was made by President Reagan in 1984.
Wow, that was the year I graduated from high school.
Yes. 5 years before I did.
But that's got to be like one of my all-time favorite days then, because I adore ice cream.
We bought. Yeah, Breyers was on sale at Publix yesterday. We bought my favorite salted caramel and my wife's favorite mint chocolate chip.
You know what's also happening on the 21st?
What?
The Big Chill.
Oh, that's right.
The Big Chill will be happening at Bailey Park with, I think it's 25 to 30 different folks making ice cream this year. There may even be more than that. But food trucks, restaurant category for the ice cream. There's going to be bands playing. It's going to be a big deal. Big deal. So 21st, if you're not doing anything, go to Bailey Park. 3 to 6. All the money that's raised goes to support the Shalom Project and their food pantry, clothes closet, their free medical clinic, their community dinner. They're doing a lot of really good work here in the community.
You can find out more about that by going back to episode 116 when
Yes.
Eileen Ayuso was in
Yes.
the studio.
Since she wasn't here today, I thought, well, it's on me to say something.
Exactly.
since This is when it comes up, in this week.
So, yes. So don't forget the Big Chilies.
Yes.
On the 21st of 1983, a new low record temperature was recorded at Vostok Station, Antarctica. It was negative 128.6.
Ow. Ooh, that's cool. I wonder what the old record was.
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's when your breath freezes.
We get a complete different thing here in a minute. In 1988, an Indian Airlines Boeing 737 was charged by a bull while landing at Baroda Airport in western India. The bull lost.
Airplane versus bull.
Yeah, that ain't no bull. No more anymore.
Well, yeah. It was, briefly.
And then on 2016, a record temperature of 129.3 degrees Fahrenheit was recorded in Kuwait. It is the highest temperature ever recorded in the Eastern Hemisphere.
Wow.
So,
I have been in 118 degree weather.
when?
It was years ago. I was out in California.
Death Valley.
No. Palm Springs. We went in August, and it reached 118 degrees that day. And they are right. It is the humidity that makes a big difference because it was amazingly dry. So you didn't really feel yourself sweating. You felt yourself starting to sweat and of course it evaporates. But what they don't tell you is that when it evaporates, it leaves salt behind. And yeah, you try walking around with salt building up underneath your arms and see if you don't get a rash.
Yikes.
It's actually painful. I did not enjoy that.
Well, being hot at all is painful for me. So, I don't get it.
118 degrees, and they're like, oh, it's a dry heat. Yeah, stick your head in the oven.
Yeah.
Tell me about the dry heat now.
Well, that's all your food holidays and history for this week. Special thanks to James Ealer at foodreference.com.
Thanks, James.
For making us chuckle, roll our eyes, and question humanity.
Yes.
The Man Who Hates the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables podcast network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables for the Beer Dads Fan Interference in Apartment 5B. You can find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on our network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. You can also find social media links to each right there as well. We'd greatly appreciate if you visit our sponsors, Delicio's Italian Restaurant, 301 Brookstown Avenue. Delicio's is the go-to Italian in town. I say it's my favorite Italian from my favorite Italian. Fully ABC compliant. Tony and Maria have they had a week off. I think they've been back now for a week. Everything should be good. The best Napolitana-style Italian food you're going to find around here, I believe. They're open until 9 o'clock Monday through Thursday, until 10 o'clock Friday and Saturday. Check them out on Instagram and on Facebook.
The Facebook.
Washington Perk and Provision Company. The Perk is located at 301 West 4th Street.
Downtown Winston-Salem.
You will find a little bit of everything at the Perk. Local fruits and veggies, meat and dairy from local sources, Papa Doc's Bionic Tonic, Bingo Bango sodas, made right here in Winston-Salem, soon to be made right here in Lab Industry Hill.
Really?
Yes.
Cool.
And Wolfie's Custard and more. Washington Perk is better than a convenience store, but not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they're Washington Perk, or Washington Perk _DTWS on Instagram.
That stands for Downtown Winston-Salem.
It does.
I figured that out all by myself. I'm so proud.
You should be. The Humblebee Shop is located at 1003 Brookstown Avenue in the west end of downtown. You need to go to Instagram right now and look up the Humblebee Shop. Brittany is whipping up the batter on some delicious desserts, cakes, and muffins, be it regular, vegan, or gluten-free. Humblebee Shop wants to challenge your perception of scratch made and leave you with an experience you couldn't possibly forget. For more information, again, follow them on Instagram and Facebook, or visit the Humblebee Shop. SHOPPE.co.
Or you just need to go, because really the experience is meeting Brittany.
That's true. I mean, and the love.
The love.
Yeah.
She puts love into everything she does.
So she has lots of love to give.
Much.
All right, well, keep an eye on the blog and this podcast to find out more about the food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send us an email, tim@themanwhoatethetown.com, or on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Instant Messengers. Check us out on Facebook. On Twitter, we are Man Who Number 8 the Town. On Instagram, we are the Man Who Ate the Town, or Man Who Ate the Town. Thank you again to Daniel Butner for coming on and talk about Carrabba's wine dinner and astronomical experience tomorrow night at Carrabba's. So, my name is Tim.
My name's Ray.
And we're closing the recipe box. Until next time, thank you for reading and thank you for listening. Bon appetit.
Yamas!
The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the Man Who Ate the Town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.